Hello everyone, this is John with KAAC. I'd like to present this video which will give you a good idea of your student experience for written assessment. In this particular example, we're looking at 6th grade showcase, but the same format will be used for Governor's Cup. Students will receive a unique password for each written assessment event in which they're registered. So if they are taking math, science, and social studies, they will have one password for each of those three events. So let's say this particular student is ready to begin testing and the student has their math password handy. They also have their section number and their coach email. Very important that you provide your students with your email because we need a good place for results to go to. And that's where we would like them to go, to your email coaches. So provide your students with your coach email. They'll sign into the video conference. They'll be directed to this page where they will put in their password here, and that will take them to a page that confirms who they are. They'll click a link, and then they will come to the class marker page, and this will be the introductory page for testing. They will put in their information, first name, last name, their email address, and this is where we want your coach email to be. So make sure your students have your coach email. Email address there. We also need them to know their section number. So if they could write this down somewhere prior to signing in for testing, it would be fantastic. So they choose their section, the school they're with, and then the final tick here at the bottom asks them to affirm that they are not receiving any help on this exam. So they click all that. They'll come to the next page. And this page, the proctor will lead them through this. It tells them the time limit, the fact that they can go back and change their answers, and that they don't have to get to the last page in order to get credit for any answers that they've given. All right, so they'll hit their start button, and this is just a, like I said, a dummy test basically for you guys to look at. You'll see that they have a timer bar here at the top, and that's very important to watch. You'll also see that each question is labeled. So question number one is part of the exam body. We'll get a little bit later on in the test, and you'll see tiebreakers, so the students will know which exam question is part of the body of the test and which is a tiebreaker. So we'll go down, and they just make their answers here. We'll do a for each one. They can change their mind and change it to C. They can change it back to A. They can clear it, change it however they like. When they get down to the 10th question, it will say next. Hit next, and they'll see question 11. And they'll answer these. And you'll see, for purposes of this test, we didn't make it regulation length. We just did 15 questions in the exam body, but you'll see that in 16 we get to the tiebreaker. So we'll just complete this and we'll finish that. In regular cases, this would be 40 questions, but in this case, we just did 20 for a dummy test. They can go back and look at their previous questions. They can also do things like bookmark a question. All right, if they bookmark a question, that means they maybe want to come back to it if they have time. So if they bookmarked questions 1 and 3, they can hit see all questions, and they'll see that they bookmarked 1 and 3 to go with. It will also tell them when they click see all questions, it will tell them if they've left any unanswered. So let's do that real quickly. Let's say that we forgot to answer question 2, and they hit see all questions, and it will tell them in red font, they haven't answered question 2. And that's it. You do not have to complete the exam per se. This finish now button is available because every question has been answered, but even if let's say they ran out of time and they didn't get to question 20, they're still going to get credit for the 19 questions that they did answer. So that's an important thing for them to know. It's always good if they have time, obviously, if time is running out, to go ahead and try and answer. But it will give you credit for any question that you answered correctly, whether you hit this finish now button or not. And so if they're finished with all their questions, they hit finish now. They're asked if they want to confirm. They finish, and they're done. It won't tell them their answers. That's what comes to that email that we asked the students to provide, and why we want the coach email there. Those are set to be delivered to you Saturday evening after your competition, just like you would get a Scantron sheet with correct and incorrect answers. You'll get an email that will show them the incorrect answers that they received on their test. That way you can work on any areas for improvement for your students. So that is the written assessment process for 6th grade showcase. Good luck.